Did you know there is a common, inexpensive fruit, probably sitting in your grocery store right now, that researchers at Harvard University have identified as one of the most powerful allies for anyone looking to control their blood pressure without relying exclusively on medication? It is not acai, it is not pomegranate, it is not some exotic superfruit that costs a fortune. It is a fruit you have probably eaten today or yesterday, and maybe you never knew the power it carries. But here is the problem, and this is the reason why most people cannot get results even when doing everything right. They consume this fruit the wrong way, in the wrong amount, or at the wrong time of day, and that makes all the difference. Today, I am going to show you exactly what the science says, how this mechanism works in your body, and what you practically need to do starting tomorrow. Stick around until the end, because in the next few minutes, you are going to understand a process that happens inside your arteries that most doctors do not have the time to explain in a 15-minute consultation. This knowledge could change how you take care of your health forever. Before getting into the content, I need to ask you for a quick favor. If you have someone in your family with high blood pressure, a father, mother, grandmother, or spouse, share this video with them right now. Seriously, not later, right now. Because what you are going to learn here is the kind of information that changes habits, and habits change lives. And of course, leave a like and subscribe to the channel because we post content like this every week. No nonsense, just science, translated for the real world. Let us start with the real problem. In the United States, nearly half of all adults have high blood pressure. That is roughly 120 million people. To give you an idea, that is more than the populations of California, Texas, Florida, and New York combined. And that is not even the scariest fact. The scariest part is that a huge portion of these people do not know they have it. High blood pressure does not hurt. It does not give warnings. It silently damages your arteries, overworks your heart, and weakens your kidneys, until one day it gives a warning no one wants to receive. A stroke, a heart attack, or kidney failure. The problem is that when people finally find out they have high blood pressure, their first reaction is wanting to solve it naturally, without medication. And that is completely understandable. But that is where the classic mistake begins. The person goes on the internet, sees a list of foods to lower blood pressure, starts drinking hibiscus tea, eats a banana here, another one there, cuts out salt for 2 days, and when they check their blood pressure again, it is exactly the same, or worse, it is higher. Why? Because the problem is not a lack of information. It is a lack of understanding the mechanism. When you understand how blood pressure truly works, you start making choices that make sense. And that is exactly what we are going to gay right now. I am going to gay something that changed the way I think about food and blood pressure. There is a constant battle happening inside your body right now. A battle between two minerals, sodium and potassium. Think of it this way. Sodium is the well-known villain. Everyone knows that too much salt raises blood pressure. But what most people do not know is that sodium can only do this because potassium is lacking. These two minerals work like opposite sides of a scale. When sodium is high and potassium is low, your blood pressure goes up. When potassium is at proper levels, it literally pushes the sodium out of your cells, relaxes the walls of your blood vessels, and allows blood to flow with less resistance. This has a scientific name. It is called the sodium-potassium pump. It is a fundamental cellular mechanism studied for decades, and it is one of the most important processes for human cardiovascular health. When this pump is working well, your blood vessels become more flexible, less stiff, and your heart needs less force to pump blood. The result? Lower blood pressure. And now comes the million-dollar question. Which food has the highest concentration of bioavailable potassium, meaning potassium that your body can actually absorb, in a way that is accessible, cheap, and practical for everyday life? The answer is the banana. Yes, the banana. That fruit that costs less than $1 a pound at the grocery store, that is in every neighborhood market, that your grandfather used to eat for breakfast without knowing he was taking care of his heart. A fully ripe banana contains an average of 422 milligrams of potassium per medium piece. But more important than the raw amount is how this potassium is packaged in the banana. It comes together with fiber, vitamin B6, magnesium, and vitamin C, creating a nutritional bundle that works in synergy for your cardiovascular health. A study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology analyzed data from over 90,000 women and concluded that diets rich in potassium were associated with a significant reduction in stroke risk. We are not talking about a weak correlation. We are talking about solid evidence accumulated over decades of research. But wait, Before you close this video thinking the solution is simply to eat a banana every day and that is it, I need to tell you what most videos on this topic do not tell you. Because the banana alone does not work miracles. What makes the difference is understanding the context in which it acts, and that is what we are going to break down right now. Let us talk about how the potassium from the banana acts specifically in your arteries, because this is the point most people have never heard explained clearly. Your arteries are lined with a layer of cells called the endothelium. This endothelium is extremely sensitive to the chemical composition of your blood. When the potassium level in your blood is low, a condition called hypokalemia, the endothelium becomes stiffer, the blood vessels constrict, and your blood pressure goes up. It is like trying to push water through a pinched hose. The heart has to work harder, the pressure increases, and over time, this overload starts to leave its mark. When you consistently consume adequate potassium, the opposite happens. The endothelium relaxes, the blood vessels dilate, peripheral vascular resistance drops, and the heart can pump the same volume of blood with much less effort. This is called potassium-mediated vasodilation, and it is one of the most studied mechanisms in modern cardiology. Researchers at Johns Hopkins University identified in a review of multiple studies that increasing potassium intake from 1,600 milligrams to 3,500 milligrams per day, which is perfectly achievable with dietary adjustments, can reduce systolic blood pressure, the top number, by up to 4 to 5 millimeters of mercury in people with hypertension. Does that sound like a little? It is not. A reduction of 5 millimeters of mercury in systolic blood pressure is associated with up to a 14% reduction in the risk of stroke, according to data from the New England Journal of Medicine. And the banana contributes significantly to reaching this daily potassium goal. But it does not work alone. The magnesium present in the banana also plays an important role. It acts as a cofactor for the sodium-potassium pump I mentioned earlier. Without enough magnesium, this pump does not work at peak efficiency. It is like having a car with premium gas, but an engine that needs a tune-up. Now you might be asking yourself, what about other fruits? What is so special about the banana that other fruits do not have? That is exactly the right question, and the answer will surprise you, because it is not about the banana being the only fruit with potassium. It is about it being the most balanced in terms of practicality, concentration, and bioavailability. I will explain this to you right now, comparing it with its main competitors. Let us quickly compare the main fruits that appear on lists of foods for high blood pressure. Avocados have potassium. A lot of potassium actually, around 485 milligrams per 3.5 ounces. But there is a practical problem. The cost, the varying availability, and the high calorie content make it difficult to include daily in large amounts. Plus, avocados have good fats, but anyone watching their calories needs to be careful with portion sizes. Watermelon has a vasodilating effect, but this comes mostly from citrulline, not potassium. It is an excellent fruit, but seasonal and with a more restricted window for consumption. Papaya is a fantastic fruit for overall health. It is rich in vitamin C, fiber, and has an anti-inflammatory effect. But its potassium content is more modest compared to the banana. Oranges have potassium and vitamin C, but their potassium concentration per serving is lower than that of a banana, and the glycemic index of processed orange juice can be problematic for those with insulin resistance, which often accompanies high blood pressure. The banana, on the other hand, combines the right amount of potassium, magnesium, vitamin B6, soluble fiber, and an affordable price in a single, natural package that fits your budget, does not need refrigeration, and can be eaten anywhere. This combination of factors is what puts the banana at the top when we talk about cardiovascular practicality. Let me tell you about a pattern researchers observed in populations from places like Japan, Costa Rica, and African countries before urbanization. These populations had very low rates of high blood pressure, even without access to modern medication. When researchers analyzed their diets, a consistent pattern emerged. Their potassium to sodium ratio was extremely high. They consumed very little processed sodium and a lot of natural potassium, mainly from fruits and vegetables. With modernization, with industrialized salt entering our food, with fast food, with ultra-processed foods, this ratio flipped, and cardiovascular diseases exploded in these populations. This is not a coincidence. It is cause and effect, documented over decades of nutritional epidemiology. What do these facts tell us in practice? That it is not about finding a magic bullet. It is about restoring a balance that our bodies were designed to have. And the banana is one of the simplest and most accessible ways to start doing that. Now let us get to what really matters. What are you going to do with all this in the real world? Step 1. The ideal amount. The general evidence-based recommendation is to consume between 3,500 milligrams and 4,700 milligrams of potassium per day for healthy adults. A medium banana provides roughly 400 to 450 milligrams. That means 2 bananas a day already make up about 20% of your daily potassium goal. The objective is not just to eat bananas. It is to use them as an anchor for a potassium-rich dietary pattern. Step 2. Ripeness matters. Here is a detail almost no one mentions. A riper banana has lower resistant starch and higher sugar, but the potassium concentration remains about the same. A banana that is still slightly green, on the other hand, has more resistant starch, which works as a prebiotic and feeds the good bacteria in your gut. And there is emerging research suggesting that a healthy gut microbiome plays a role in regulating blood pressure. In other words, alternating between riper and less ripe bananas can be a smart strategy. Step 3. The best time. There is no magic hour to eat a banana, but having it with breakfast or as a pre-workout snack has practical advantages. It stabilizes blood sugar, provides sustained energy, and integrates potassium at the start of your day's metabolic cycle. Avoid eating it late at night if you are prone to high blood sugar, because the carbohydrate density might be undesirable at that time for some metabolic profiles. Step 4. Smart combinations. A banana with plain Greek yogurt, a great source of calcium and probiotics, forms one of the most complete combinations for both cardiovascular and gut health. Calcium also plays a role in regulating blood pressure. A banana with all-natural peanut butter with no added sugar adds healthy fats and magnesium. These are combinations that boost the cardiovascular effect and increase fullness. Step 5. What not to do. The most common mistake is eating a banana on top of a diet full of sodium and ultra-processed foods and expecting it to cancel out the effect of the salt. It does not work like that. The banana increases your potassium, but if you are consuming 3,400 milligrams of sodium a day, which is the average for an American diet, the scale will still be unbalanced. The banana is part of a strategy, not the entire strategy. Another classic mistake. People with chronic kidney disease may not be able to excrete potassium properly, and in that case, excess potassium can be dangerous. Always, always, always consult your doctor before making significant dietary changes if you have pre-existing conditions. This content is educational. It does not replace an individual medical evaluation. The banana is part of an ecosystem of habits. To maximize its effect and the effect of dietary changes in general on blood pressure, there are 3 other factors that science consistently puts at the top of the list. The first is sodium reduction. More than just cutting table salt, the focus needs to be on processed foods: deli meats, canned goods, pre-made seasonings, and salty crackers. These are the great hidden villains of sodium in the modern diet. The second is hydration. The kidney is the organ that most influences blood pressure in the long run. It filters the blood, eliminates excess sodium, and regulates the volume of fluids in the body. Drinking adequate water, around ½ an ounce per pound of body weight every day, is fundamental for the kidney to do this job efficiently. The third is physical movement. Regular aerobic exercise, like walking, cycling, or swimming, stimulates the production of nitric oxide by the endothelium. Nitric oxide is a natural vasodilator, one of the most potent ones the body produces. 30 minutes of brisk walking 5 times a week can reduce systolic blood pressure by 5 to 8 millimeters of mercury, according to meta-analyses published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine. Combine bananas with a balanced diet, hydration, and movement, and you have a natural, evidence-based protocol that many cardiologists support as a complementary strategy to medical treatment. I want to pause for a second and say something important. This video is not about demonizing medicine. High blood pressure medications save lives. If your doctor prescribed it, use it. What we are discussing here is what you can do alongside the medication, or in cases of mild hypertension and under medical supervision, what can help you avoid needing medication in the first place. The greatest achievement someone can have with this kind of knowledge is not throwing their medicine away. It is arriving at their next doctor's appointment with better numbers, hearing the doctor ask what they did differently, and being able to answer with confidence. I changed my diet. That has a value that goes beyond physical health. It is the feeling of control over your own body, and no one deserves to live feeling like they're at the mercy of a silent disease without doing anything about it. So let us quickly recap what you learned today. The banana is the most balanced and accessible fruit for anyone who wants to use food as an ally in controlling blood pressure. The central mechanism is potassium, specifically the sodium-potassium pump, which relaxes blood vessels and reduces vascular resistance. The banana does not work alone. It needs to be part of a dietary pattern with less sodium, better hydration, and physical activity. Ripeness, quantity, and combinations make a difference in the outcome. And before any significant change, especially if you have a kidney condition or take medication, talk to your doctor. Now I need you to do something. Go down below and leave a comment. Did you already know the banana had this power, or was this new to you? This simple question helps me understand what my audience knows and what they still need to learn. And it helps me create the next videos so they will be even more useful to you. And if you made it this far without subscribing to the channel, I need to tell you something directly. You are going to miss the next video, because the algorithm will not show it to you if you are not subscribed with the notification bell turned on. And the next video is going to talk about the mineral that roughly 70% of Americans are lacking in their diet, which is directly linked to high blood pressure, insomnia, and muscle cramps all at the same time. You will not want to miss that. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and share this video with someone who needs this information today, because quality information that stays only in your head does not save anyone. But shared information can change the life of someone you love. See you in the next video. Take care of your health.